Welcome back to New Day Northwest. Most of us look forward to the day we can retire, but an increasing number of Americans are feeling pressured or even forced to retire before they're ready. UW professor and ethicist Nancy Jecker became interested in this topic while researching her book, Ending Midlife Bias. She says ageism gets in the way of older people who want or need to extend their careers.
Forced retirement was banned in the United States in 1967, but unfortunately, passing laws does not eliminate people's biases. And studies have shown that most people who retire felt that they were forced out or partially forced out of their jobs. So it's kind of like sexism or racism. You know, it's often not overt, but it's baked into the structures in which we work and live. So regardless of what laws say, people think, feel, and act in ageist ways.
You know, I think that many other cultures seem to value age as wisdom and as people who you want to have in your companies to impart that wisdom. So what reasons do people give for discriminating based on age?
Well, one reason that's often heard is that older adults have had a fair turn, and so they should step aside and give younger people a chance to work and hold jobs. And they're sort of, stopping things up. They're preventing those jobs from opening up for younger people to assume. But, when we look at that argument more closely, we realize that old and young people often qualify for different jobs. And the supply of jobs expands and contracts based on many factors: labor market conditions, companies' profits and strategic goals. And that there's not this one-to-one correspondence between an older person leaving and a younger person coming in. They're often not competing for the same jobs. So I don't find that argument particularly persuasive. Another argument I've heard is that mandating retirement is, while it looks like we're treating people unequally, in fact, we're treating people equally because over time, the same individuals benefit by favoring the young, and then they're disadvantaged by favoring the old. So over time, don't we treat people the same? But I find that argument unpersuasive as well. And the reason is that what matters with respect to equality is having equal relationships, being able to stand before others as equals. And when young and old people are not treated equally in the workplace, they don't come together as equals. The old are going to be forced out and the young are not.
So how do we kind of put a stop to mandatory retirement and create a more diverse workplace?
Well, I think age diversity matters a lot. If we mandated retirement, we'd have no one in the workforce that was, say, over 64. So I'm not sure that would really realize the goal. The best way to promote age diverse workforces is at point of hire, not by getting rid of people already on the job.
So I know that a lot of folks, not so much in my generation, but, some of my family friends who are older, they can actually retire. Now they can afford to retire. They've got their pensions, but they don't want to. So what reason is there in your research that you found to benefit people with working longer?
Well, work is, for many of us, more than a wage. People work for many reasons. Granted, some people work because they just need the money, but other times people have a certain job or a kind of job, and it's part of their identity. And in fact, it's even a source of pride. And I think here the language we use to talk about our work is revealing. I don't say I teach, I say I'm a teacher. We don't say, I bake, we say I'm a baker. I don't doctor, I am a doctor. So the language is a noun, it's who we are, not just something we do. And I think that reflects the fact that work becomes entwined with our identity. It gives meaning and purpose to a person's life. It gives people a chance to be with others, to affiliate. And stopping work really disrupts a central source of people's identity and, in fact, their meaning in life. It's also bad for our health. Studies have shown that when people work longer, they maintain better health over a longer period of time than if they retire earlier.
What else does society need to consider when it comes to debating mandatory retirement and workplace discrimination?
Well, I think we need to really attend to the fact of structural ageism. Ageism is baked into the structures in many fields, not just the workplace. There's evidence of structural ageism in medicine, in the entertainment industry, in social media, and algorithmic bias in marketing and advertisements where older people are excluded. And we need to really create structures that are inclusive and diverse in all respects, including age.
Such great food for thought.